Good morning, students. Sons and Lovers by D.H. Lawrence. Here I am going to speak a summary, very short summary of Sons and Lovers. That's a story of a moral family. Moral family lives in London, nearby London, and D.H. Lawrence, it is said that's a autobiographical novel of D.H. Lawrence, right? Mm, we find that there are six members in Moral family: Walter Moral, husband, and wife Gertrude Moral. Gertrude Moral is a when novel opens, we find that Gertrude Moral is a very young and beautiful lady, and she meets Walter Moral in a dance party, and she falls in love with him. And then very quickly they decide, and even Walter Moral likes Gertrude Moral, and they decide to get married, and they are married now. So now, after marriage, as she comes to Walter Moral's home, then only she comes to know that this house is on rent, and Moral does not have money and position, and moral is a drunkard, we can say. Moral takes liquor and not educated. So after some time, Gertrude realizes, after a very short time period, short time, then she comes to know that she made mistake. She should not have married with this man, because he's a miner, he works in a mine, and that's a minor population, like community, that is not liked by Gertrude Moral, because she comes from a very sophisticated family, and she's a very good religious sophisticated lady, so she does not like these people. Anyway, there is no way, there is no way to go back, so she has to accept. But what happened? Moral uh, goes to mine, works, okay, no problem. But then he used to drink many a times, and in in the meanwhile, Gertrude becomes pregnant, and she gives birth a baby boy. She names William Morel. And then after her child, she thinks that she compromises with Walter, and she thinks that he is my life, and she's happy with her children, and her world is William Morel now, because she is happy to see growing Walt- William Morel. And very soon she gets pregnant again, and this time she gives birth a daughter, Annie. She's also good girl. But third time, when she is pregnant, she does not want to have this child, because two children are okay. And second thing is that there is no condition. Walter is not settled. He does not have. There are financial issues. That's why she does not give birth third child, Paul. But Paul comes on this earth. He is born, and now she's happy with Paul. But then fourth child also comes, and He is Arthur. So that family, that they have a family, and Walter Morrill, Gertrude Morrill, husband, wife, and their children, William Morrill, then Annie Morrill, she's alone, like she's daughter, and Paul Morrill and Arthur Morrill. These are the children of Morrill family. Now she is very happy with her children, and but then she's not at all happy with Walter, because Walter drinks a lot, and many a time she's beaten by Walter. He throws her wife oftenly. He throws her wife outside the home and locks him sometime into another room, and she passes her time and she compromises because of children. So then, after some time, she diverts her mind towards children. She pays her whole attention to children, and in the evening, she goes along with her children and enjoys sunset, garden, fragrance of flowers, birds, chirping of birds. This way, she passes her time. And she's very happy to see that her children are going, they are playing, but now they are grown up children. So one day William gets job in London, because they are outskirts London, they live in outskirts. So, and it's a minor, that's a colony, right? Township where they live. Now, William has to go to London for joining the job, and William is very happy. Uh, he has got a job of clerk, but very happy. So he goes to London and joins his job. But he used to come. He used to visit to Gertrude or to whole family, spends time whenever he gets chance. He comes back to home. He uh, spends time with family and all. In the meanwhile, he he comes in a contact with Lily, and his girlfriend, we can say, and now they spend quality time with one another, and William is happy. But then now, as uh, time progresses, then William is not able to come visit to mother or to family. So rarely he comes to his family because of two reasons. First is he's busy in job, and extra time, that's about the time he gets. So he spends time with Lily, and that is why he does not come to moral family. And mother, some, she's upset, but she can't do anything. But unfortunately, William is succumbed with pneumonia. And no, sorry, in the meanwhile, William takes Lily to his home to meet all family members, but he finds that he observes that Lily does not like all these family people, and because they live in my coal mine, that's a township, small house. So she does not like, and she behaves with family members, and she treats them like servant. So William does not like this. He is very upset. And then after going, They have quarrel, and then finally, unfortunately, William is succumbed with pneumonia, and very soon he dies. Now it's a really big setback to mother, and she cries a lot, but she accepts the reality, and then she could focus to her next child, Paul, who also was suffering from pneumonia severely, but because of obsession with William, she could not take care of Paul, and Paul's condition is deteriorated. So she decides that no, I cannot lose Paul. I will nurse my child like anything, and one day he will recover. And because of her care, Paul recovered. And Paul also is a very good child, and Paul is an artist. He is a good painter, and now he's also grown up. So Paul gets job in a company, but he does not go anywhere, and he joins the job in his place, and in extra time he spends, he does painting. Now as he's grown up, then in the evening he used to go for walk, and near their house there is a farmhouse of Miriam family. So he meets Miriam Levers families, Levers farmhouse. So he meets Miriam Levers, and they become friend, Paul and Miriam. But Miriam is very religious girl, very honest, and they go for walk, long walk, evening walk, and Paul is happy with Miriam, and they have platonic love, no physical attraction. So as time advances, then Miriam demands for marriage, but he is not mentally prepared now, so he rejects. But one day he demands for physical relationship. Miriam denies because she has sets of principles. She does not interested. She cannot lose her chastity before marriage. So this way, Paul has physical needs, mental needs, emotional needs, which is being fulfilled by Miriam. But then he is a man now, so he requests Miriam for physical love, but she denies, she rejects. Anyway, now here, mother does not like, Paul's mother does not like Miriam because of two reasons. She is very much possessed, and that is why she also did not like Lily because of jealous, and same here in the case of Miriam, because she is over possessive with Paul, and that's why she refuses, or she irritates with Miriam. And Miriam is a very calm and composed girl, but then Miriam is happy. Now, when he feels physical need, so that one day they go to walk, long walk. So where Paul meets Clara Daves. Clara Daves is a good friend of Marian, So he meets there with Clara Daves and they get attracted with each other, Paul and Clara. But problem is that Clara is married girl living separately with her mother, and he remembers uh, Paul. In discussion, Paul comes to know that Clara is Baxter's wife, and Baxter is the very person who insulted Paul in the beginning when Paul joins the job. So he is very much annoyed with Clara and he does not like Clara. But by the time meetings and then they start talking each other and they have physical relations with each other. But as Clara is married lady, so however she's a very beautiful, open, frank lady, and that's why Paul likes her. But then, as Clara is Baxter's wife, but then they meet. But here, at the same time, he meets with Miriam as well. Life goes on. Now, one day, he has fighting with Baxter in office, and then after some time, Paul thinks that, oh no, then unfortunately, again, there is another setback in Moral family that mother Gertrude Moral is very much sick and she is diagnosed with second stage cancer. Paul is very much disappointed because he loves his mother like anything and he wants to spend much time with his mother, and that's why he's not able to select uh, because as he meets Miriam in the beginning, so he spends time with Miriam, but then he's in dilemma whether this time should be spent with my mother after office time. I should give time to my mother. She took care of me. Because of her, I my life is saved. However, sometime even Gertrude Morrell thinks that Paul is sick because of me, because during his time when I was pregnant and Paul was in my womb, I could not take care of him, and that is why Paul is sick. I did not have this child, and that's why she used to take medicines during in Paul's time, and that is why she thinks and she feels guilt because Paul is not a healthy boy. But she nurses Paul, and Paul is and Paul is like happy, healthy, right? And Paul recovered himself from severe pneumonia. So that was the time. But now she is very much possessed with Paul, and Paul is also very much attached with mother. And that is why author has written Sons and Lovers, Oedipus complex, right? Mother is over possessive with sons, and son is very much with mother. Now he is not able to take a decision and he spends much time with his mother. Now she needs time and care. So one day, that's a girl, Annie, she scolds Paul that you spend your time with Miriam, but you don't have time for your mother. She is suffering from cancer, and as a son, you have to take care of mother. So he decides to spend time with his mother. She's hospitalized now because she a it's a uh, like that she's very much sick, and that's why she's hospitalized. So in hospital, when Paul uh, finds that Baxter is also admitted in the same hospital because of viral fever, so he takes care of Baxter as well. And now, because of Paul's positive attitude, they become good friends. And here, mother is getting sick, and finally, her health is deteriorated like anything, and very paining last stage she is suffering from. And everyone knows that she will no more. So then, Paul decides to give painkillers to mother, and he gives so much painkillers to mother so that she would die. However, this decision is Paul's, this decision is Annie's, but as mother dies, Paul is broken up. Paul thinks that life is useless now. He is not able to accept that his mother is no more, and he is very much disappointed. So here he thinks that he calls Baxter, and one day in a place he calls Baxter and Clara, and he leaves them alone, and says to them to talk, and after discussion they decide to live together. And now Clara and Baxter reunited because of Paul. So Paul is happy to see them. They are united now. And then Paul moves to Clara for marriage. So that then they spend time, and then he thinks again, that's a marriage or not? What should I do? So Miriam is ready, but then as she finds that Paul is very indecisive man. Then when once she proposes for marriage, and he's also thinking for marriage, but he's not take able to take proper decision. So then, after everything, like mother dies, all brother sister are settled in their life. William, once upon a time, has already died. So then, when after mother, Walter spent much time with his wife and children in this house. So Walter decides to leave this house because he's not able to live without his wife, and same with Paul. So that's father and son, means Paul and Walter. Paul right from beginning does not like his father because of his behavior. And when he in his childhood, when he sees that my mother is oftenly beaten by my father, and mistreatment and everything he has witnessed, so he does he hates his father. But situation brings, and uh, to but this is the situation, because of situation, to leave them alone. And that is why Paul has to compromise with his father. He cannot leave his father alone, and they decide to move in another house. So they take a small house in London, a small flat in London, and then they move. But then this time, once again, he visits to Miriam, and proposes for marriage. But this time, Miriam refuses. She said, No, you can't take decision, you can't be happy with anyone. And then she leaves Paul alone. Finally, Paul does not have any way out, so he sits in a cab and goes in a dark road. It goes to London. And here, finally, novel ends. So that is a tragedy, tragic novel. But now, Paul is all alone in this world, though he had two female partners. One is very much suitable, but because of his shaking decision, undecisive nature, mother's possession, and he spoils his life, and mother has gone. Mother unknowingly get very much attached with Paul, and that brings a tragedy in Paul's life. And here novel ends. So thank you so much. God bless you.